Which of these three do you think became a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? He said, the one who did the kindness with him. Jesus said to him, go and do likewise. Good morning. Welcome to a short biblical reflection on the reading from the Gospel according to Luke chapter 10, verses 25 up to 37. It is about the commandment of love and the parable of the Good Samaritan which follows. It is the reading for the 15th Sunday in the ordinary time. Without making a synoptic comparison concerning the question, Teacher, what I must do to inherit eternal life, because we find it elsewhere, as well also the situation in which we have this combination of both commandments of loving God and loving neighbor. In the synoptic Gospels, Matthew and Mark, in fact, it is Jesus who answers to a question about the first one of the greatest commandments. Here in Lucan Gospel, the setup is different. The scholar of the law asks about, also in order to test Jesus, therefore the title which he gives to him, teacher, it is not intended in a proper way, because in fact he wants to make him fall. And then he asks, what I must do to inherit eternal life? Jesus doesn't answer to this question. He puts two questions. What is written in the law and what do you read there? So not only the fact objectively that is written, but also how do you interpret? And therefore, consequently, it is the scholar himself who answers the question, combining those two commandments from the Old Testament. I put them below on the screen, below the text, from Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 5, where it is about the commandment of loving God, and Leviticus chapter 19 verse 18, where it's about the commandment of loving the neighbor, because in the Old Testaments those two commandments are never put together. They are put together in the Gospels. And since the scholar answered to this question and he realized that the trap that he was setting for Jesus, he folded himself into it. Therefore, he wants now to justify himself, putting the question, and who is my neighbor? Jesus is not answering to this question directly, but also translating more literally at the beginning of verse 30. He's taking up the word, the concept of neighbor, and now develops it into this beautiful parable. Therefore, this setup in the Lucan Gospel is peculiar. Of course, he starts with the hierarchy, so with those who would need to be seen as samples, those who would need to apply this commandment of loving God and loving neighbor, first the priest and then a Levite. Both they sided with the robbers who, after beating that fellow, they left him half dead. They are also passing by on the other side, leaving him half dead, not being concerned what would happen with him. And then a Samaritan, from Jewish point of view, we could say a heretic, the one who does not believe and practices properly the religion. He in fact takes care of him, making even own expenses, treating him like a member of his own family. And at the end, Jesus now puts this question: which of these three do you think became a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? And the scholar answers, the one who did kindness with him. Also, this expression I translated more literally, because quite often it is just translated like in the sense show mercy. Here we have the same verb to do as already we notice it in the first question, what I must do to inherit eternal life. Then with the statement of Jesus, do this and you will live, because scholars wanted to inherit eternal life. he is not a matter of inheriting, owning something, but receiving the life from God Himself by doing, applying the commandment of loving God and loving neighbor. And now, with this application of the parable, Jesus is stressing at the end, go and do likewise, because the scholar in fact answered himself, the one who did kindness with him. So he has to follow the same example of a Samaritan person. I would like to wish you a nice day, a nice reflection on this gospel reading.